Hello there, this is Ben with Studio on the Lake. This is kind of a weird video, and this is when I was goofing around a couple weeks ago, and it's going to show a little bit of this guy who I'm redoing. I started the painting on him many years ago, and I gave up because I didn't like the way some of the lines were flowing in it. He is gold leafed and then painted with acrylics. And I'm setting this up, and I'll show you in another video later on. I don't finish him in this. I go off on another little baby bird, and I'll tell you the story of that as we go along. But one of the most interesting things about the direction that we're going here, this year I told everyone that I was going to do a whole series of how I carve different birds and whatnot, and do it as a tutorial. But I'm kind of still on track with that. I'm doing pretty good. I'm surprised. A lot of times I get off track and get sidetracked. So there's a thing in there. I think it's AMSR, and I may have said that incorrectly. I'd have to go and peek at that. But there's been a lot of comments on the past videos and on some of the videos that I'm doing now. And I guess the AMSR is a term that they're giving some videos in it. It just means a video is enjoyable to watch, and it's relaxing, and it's something that you just kind of can go through. And there's been a lot of searches on the past videos that I've done, and that comment keeps popping up. So I'm going to start using that tag in there and go along with that. And this is the first of the AMSR videos that I'm going to kind of put out. I'm going to try to do a video. I guess AMSR is, if you've ever watched Bob Ross, I think he started this. And then there's other ones on there that have millions of views that says something along the lines of, hey, the most relaxing video ever. In other words, there's really not a whole lot of message in the video. It's just something that's enjoyable to watch and enjoyable to listen to. So, all right, so this trend, this new video trend that's out there, it was started by Bob Ross, kind of, or identified in there, and it's a mouthful. The acronym for it is ASMR, Alpha Sierra Mike Romeo, if you do the phonetic alphabet, or ASMR, and it stands for, this is a mouthful, Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. And they talk about, they call it a brain massage or a sedative effect. And I guess it's a pretty popular trend in there. So I'm going to do a few, and I've been getting comments, as I've said, on hey, some of my videos are ASMR, and I think I will, in addition to doing the birds and stuff, I'll put together some shorts that are just ASMR videos as a way to help grow the channel, and they might work out for you or not. But as always, leave me a comment down there and tell me what you think. So this one, again, it has two parts to the video, and this is just a piece that I'm finishing up. I pulled all my stuff from Etsy because it's just not getting the volume that I wanted in there. Plus, I got an offer from a gallery down in Madison, Wisconsin, and they want the items in the gallery, so I pulled them. It didn't make sense to me to have them for sale on Etsy and then have them in the gallery. So if you see something of mine that you're interested in, you can just drop me an email. I can actually pull it from the gallery. But this guy was done with gold leaf probably 3 or 4 years ago, and I never did finish it. I used to do a lot of these. They would sell really well out on the East Coast, not so much here up in the Midwest. But this guy, I'm going to do a little bit more work on him. You'll see that in a future video, and then I'll do some painting. And this part right here, I just left the camera running. While I was doing the ruddy duck, I needed a couple more birds, So I pulled out an old bird and was done with a stain and simple carving, and thought I would kind of duplicate that guy, because when I really sit down to relax, this is what I do. And I did leave the camera running, and part of it I did film with the in frame, and a lot of it I didn't film in frame. Like I said, I just left the camera running, and these are pulling out. So you're going to see this is out of frame for me. Typically, I try to stay in the center of the frame if I can. And in this case, this is run down quite a bit. And when you look at it, it looks as if I'm showing it to you. And in reality, I'm in another world right now, and I'm just relaxing, carving this guy. And when I hold him up or stop and stare at it, that's not for the camera. That's just the way that I carve, and when I'm looking at it for the different pieces. But this is another baby bird, and the gallery needs a lot of baby birds, so I'll probably do 20 or 30 of those here shortly. And I apologize as you watch through this. It's kind of an interesting video. I ran back through it and looked at it, and there's nothing particularly bad about it, other than I am out of frame a lot, and I wasn't able to zoom down in. So if you just came aboard the channel, I would highly encourage you to subscribe, or at least go back and look at some of the other videos. And that's what I'm talking about right there, how I'm kind of out of frame up in the corner of that video. And once again, I really had no intention of putting this up. I just needed something to... I was reading up on the ASMR comments that I was getting on the different videos, and I thought, well, I should probably put a video together along those lines. So this is going to be the first one that I do. So setting this guy up, standard piece of basswood, and really not well blocked out or anything. And I got the other little bird off on the side. Now, yeah, I'm using him as a pattern, but I'm starting to work his head out now, and he's just going to be kind of sitting there with his wings crossed. And you're not going to get the whole thing. I turned the camera off after I had done half of it, and you've seen me do that a lot. I'll do one half of a bird, since they're a mirror image relatively, and let you see how that's developing, and then I won't do the other half on the camera, and that saves you a little bit of pain as you're watching. So I'm down in Iowa again, and I've got another day down here, and then I'm heading back up home for a week. And the last cycle, as I've said, I'm down in Iowa for a week, and then I'm back home for a week up in Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin. And last week we had the grandkids around, and that didn't provide for but one day of carving, or maybe 2 days, heck, I don't remember. But this week, as far as I know, there's not much going on in the Northwoods. I know the lake will be thawed, I'm pretty sure. I'm also pretty sure that the loons will be back, and I can get with my summer projects. We have to start thinking about putting in the garden. But in the bird lane, I've been trying to order owl eyes from Tohican Glass Eyes, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a snowy owl, and I think I'm going to do a great horned owl, and then I might also do a burrowing owl. I like them. They're short, they're small, and they're really kind of cute. But while I was putting that information out, I also want to do a black duck, and the black duck will have no paint hardly at all on it. I'll do a hen, black duck hen, not a drake. And it's been one of my best sellers over the years, but it'll just be burned all the way through. But I think I'm going to have to put the duck off, because I'm starting to get behind on things that I've told people I'm going to do. And I was reminded of that in the comments by one of you guys that watches a lot, and said, hey, I had promised to do a raven, and I will do that. I need to get a reference piece back for my son. I did a raven many, many years ago at the request of someone. They wanted to purchase it when we owned a shop. And so I carved a raven and put it out and never saw the guy ever again. And my son took it many years ago, so I'll pull that from him. But it's kind of unique because it's the ravens are all black, and when you get the painting done on them, they're really, if you get a good attitude in there, they're kind of neat. So I owe you a raven, not necessarily in this order, a couple of owls, and a black duck hen, which is pretty much just like a mallard. So these are designed, when I've done them in the past, is I wanted its wings to go up, over, and cross, and it's kind of a baby bird, no specific species of bird in there. And they've got, I think they're 4 or 5 millimeter Tohican eyes in there. Like I said, I tried to order 18 and 20 millimeter, which is a pretty big eye, in a straw yellow, atmospheric banded from Tohican glass eyes. And in the last couple of days, each time I've tried to go on the site, their shipping, there's something wrong with their shipping calculator, and it won't allow me to do it. And later today, I might just go ahead and give them a call and get those ordered. But this guy's just one that was going to, no intention to be filmed. And you can see I've grabbed the knife and I'm quickly doing the rest of the block out there. Almost all of this guy was run at 2 times the speed. If you really want to see how these are done in great detail, there's a couple on there. There's a baby bird, which I'd highly recommend you take a look at. It turns out real nice. And I didn't show you putting the glass eyes in. I just skipped over that part. In fact, I didn't even film it. And now on this guy, I'm go ahead and putting the feather groupings out where those are kind of the cheeks up there where they'll come down. And you notice that I started and I carved his head out, and now I'm starting to block in the rest of the bird. That's the typical way that I carve. And this is a real good example of what I do to relax. So some of the videos, I'm not as relaxed while I'm working on them. I've kind of got a plan. I'm thinking about how the video is going to progress. I'm thinking about the pieces that I'm going to teach on that and whatnot. So I'm just kind of creating something in this one. And I've done hundreds of these, and I don't know if that's evident in this. And you can do the same thing. There's a couple people out there that are trying to work out these birds. These techniques are ones that I've developed over the years. The baby birds they're real enjoyable to build. Some of them come out pretty cartoony. I haven't showed you any of those, but if I want something to do that's not going to take a whole lot of time, maybe 2 or 3 hours, and I don't feel like getting up and messing with the saws and collecting more wood and blanking out, I'll do something like this. For those of you that are new to the channel, I have a studio out behind the house, and I think it was a little bedroom or something for the lake property that was here, but it also looks out over the lake. And then up on the one side of it, I've got a wood stove, and then up above is I've got a TV, and I ran internet out there, or out here, and I've got a nice comfortable chair that sits beside a table, and that's where I do my carving. Jordy Johnson makes fun of me, and it's all good fun. I stick a pillow under my arm, I plop my butt in the chair, and I waste away 3 or 4 hours. My typical routine after many, many years in the military is I still wake up at 5:30, 4:30, 5:30 in the morning. I'll have my coffee, go out in the winter particularly, and start a fire out here, and then bring my coffee out and sit for 3 or 4 hours. and carve until around noon. Then I go in and eat lunch and take a nap. Naps are important. And then I'll do whatever else I need to do during the day in the afternoon. So once this guy was not intended to be filmed, and you can tell that simply by the way I'm holding my hand in this in a lot of cases. Yeah, we got really lucky that any of it was in frame. And I'm going to put when you're reading the title of this, if you're one of the regulars, you'll notice that I'm going to put that ASMR, autonomous sensory meridian response, in the title and the tag, and see if we can suck some more people into the channel, because it just goes and helps out me to be able to do various different things. This guy turned out real nice, considering I only did half of him, and he still only has half done. He's sitting beside my chair in the living room of the big house, and I'll when I get back this week, I'll have to go out and do some more work. But I thought you guys might want to see a little something else. I've got time constraints now that I never had before. When I work, I fly an EMS helicopter, as most of you know that subscribe, and we alternate back and forth. So I work 7 days on and then 7 days off, and a day on amounts to 12-hour shift. I sit there and I wait for the radio to go off where someone's had an accident or needs airlifted somewhere, and we'll go and do that. But in that additional thing, that 12-hour shift, 1 week will be a day shift, and in this case down here in Iowa, we work 6:30 to 6:30, 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. And then the next week we will do, I'll be on nights, so 7 on, 7 days off, and then the next week I'll go to nights. And I've been on a couple night cycles here, 3 in a row, in fact, or we'll have 3 coming up, and the reason for that is we've got a new pilot, and it's nice to learn the local area while you're on days. So I swap shifts with him, and I work from 6:30 at night to 6:30 in the morning. Now I do sleep. I go to sleep about 9:30 or 10 o'clock, because I can wake up for the tone and still make the 10-minute lift time. Especially if I check weather and determine that we're able to fly. I know that if the tone goes off, I need to get up. And along those same lines, we got a thing in the business called EMS, and we call that earn money sleeping. So I get paid if I come in and the weather's unflyable. I still get paid. A lot of times they'll send the medical crew home to save money, but they don't get to do that with me based on the contract that I fly under. And I look at the weather. It's nasty. It's projected to be nasty on the forecast bright and early in the morning, and I read a little bit of my book and then go to sleep, knowing that when the tone goes off, I get up and decline the flight based on weather. So we call that earn money sleeping. So this is about the end of this guy that you're going to get, and he will be one of several that will go down to the gallery. And I'm pretty much assured that most of them will sell. People seem to like these. When they pick them up, they think that they look like a real bird. And I think they do too. And that's kind of the goal that I'm going for, is to have a real baby bird in your hand. And this one's getting a little bit more detail than some of them. Some of them I try to leave a little more plain. But this is coming up to the end of this, and so if you haven't subscribed, that would be great. You could help the channel out if it makes sense. By all means, share it or show other people where it's at, and just be advised that in the future I'm going to do some ASMR. Did I say that right? I did. ASMR, autonomous sensory meridian response videos, or they're sedative in nature, I guess, and they call it brain massage. They do the same thing with some sounds, like crinkling sounds of paper and whatnot. And I haven't delved into it a whole lot, but the main thing that they talk about is the Bob Ross mellow style, and that is kind of my style. I definitely don't want to copy Bob Ross. And in fact, it's kind of fun if you go on to YouTube and you flip around a little bit like I used to before I got busy trying to figure out how people are doing these videos and what you guys that are watching want to see. I've ran across a couple people that are just kind of fake, and they're doing the Bob Ross thing. So I'm not doing the Bob Ross thing. What you see is what you get, and this is the way I normally talk, and this is my voice. So here's another little bird done in the ASMR style, and there's really not a lot to it other than something just to watch. If I were, that is the little brush that I'm taking the burn marks off. And there are a couple of you out there that have asked questions and even bought the same kind of burner that I have. And I really, quite frankly, haven't seen anybody else doing this particular style. In other words, burning the feathers in, stoning the feathers in, and then brushing them off like this. I'm sure people do, and they just haven't. There's nothing new in the world. If you invent something, there's nothing worse than I can remember over many years I would tell the wife, hey, I got a great idea, and then she would Google it or something here lately when that was available and say, oh yeah, there's 200 of them. And you're like, man, that sucks. It's too bad that I couldn't have been around many years ago. So there he is. He's looking really cute, and as always, I suggest that those of you that are doing this, if you're not just watching this for the heck of it, to see how it's done, that you always sign your work. I sign all my work with my initials, BAM. I used to, many years ago, when I first got married, or started dating my wife in the Midwest over in Omaha, and I came from southeastern Oregon in ranch country, and I, for years, yeah, teenager, right, 20, 21 years old, and you say years, that's not a true statement once you get older. But I signed stuff with the initials BM, and people would giggle, and I didn't understand it. My wife said, well, out here in the Midwest, a BM is a bowel movement, and so that's your name, bowel movement. And I was like, well, that's just rotten, and I added my middle initial back in there, A, so BAM. I used to think initially that BAM, as in Bam Bam from the Flintstones, was a little pretentious. But given the choice between bowel movement and BAM and BAM, I'll go with that. So here's that little guy. Thanks a lot for watching. You'll see some more in a week or so here. This has been Ben with Studio on the Lake.